let's start from here. Let's start right now. It is the post-match reaction show. Yeah, let me know your thoughts on Liverpool 2, Arsenal 2, or our Arsenal 2, Liverpool 2 at the Emirates. Like I say, could have been better, could have been worse. Given how they are played in parts of the first half, happy to take the draw and move on. Second half, we made them look like the away side, says Connor. And yeah, it's absolutely spot on, mate. Liverpool did much improved, and congratulations and well done to Arne Slot on whatever he did at half time, because it definitely worked. Because Liverpool were poor in the first half, and not as bad really in the second half. Got a much improved performance, and I think you'll take the point and run. Philip says much better point for us than them, that's for sure. I always thinking, and listen, we don't know what Liverpool are going to be. Are they going to be in a title race? Are they going to be in? What are they going to be in? If you can draw away with big rivals and beat them at home, then you're in a good place, and I think that's what you'll be looking at. I think. Yeah, it's a good result. It's a decent result. The performance up and down, and could Liverpool have taken advantage maybe of Arsenal's issues? Potentially, yes. But I think given how Liverpool played in the first half, I think if you'd have offered Arne Slot a point at half time, he'd have took it. I would have. I'm guessing most people in the chat would have felt the same as well. Big Tasty, nice name, says sloppy enough, but we fought for the point and we got it in the end. You'll never walk alone. Yeah. I thought it was even first half. I think Liverpool give too many free kicks away. First half of the first half, I should say. They score. I think Liverpool get back in it with the set piece, and I thought we were rubbish from when we scored to half time. We kept giving silly fouls away. We didn't learn our lesson. Merino should have scored before he actually scores, so Liverpool didn't learn the lessons there. So it was a poor first half performance. Both goals really. I think Declan Rice's set pieces are fantastic. I would have liked to have thought, given a chance that Merino had when he made a complete mess of it, could Liverpool have learned their lesson, and he didn't. Now again, it's a fraction in terms of the offside, and I understand that, but didn't really learn their lesson. Not only with the giving free kicks away, but also the marking. And Arsenal do that thing where they stand offside and they all walk in, and it's like who's picking who up. They stand in the gaps of the zone. Liverpool just didn't get their heads around it. Personally, I wouldn't mind them going deeper in that situation and just let them go even deeper and head the ball away. But that's how Liverpool defend with the high line. And listen, if he's a toenail offside, we'd all agree, we'd all be happy with it. He's a toenail onside and we're not. Having said that, half time comes, Liverpool don't make any changes, which surprised me. But ultimately get the much improved second half performance and a very good goal in the end. Yeah, MK's right, I agree with this. Usually you talk about your reaction after conceding, but today I wasn't very happy with the reaction after scoring. Liverpool's issue for me was that they couldn't get out. It was just long balls up the pitch. It was hoofs. It was clear. Like, no one really was taking ownership and getting them out. And with the Szoboszlai, McAllister, Jones midfield, with a Gravenberch, Jones, McAllister midfield, you should be able to get out there good enough on the ball to get you out. Liverpool couldn't make it stick for whatever reason. It was just pressure after pressure, needless free kick after needless free kick, and eventually it tells. Arsenal are a team who try and draw you into fouls, draw you into things, try and slow the game down at times. Bitty free kick, stop-start, players going down with all this nonsense, and it can be quite frustrating. And Liverpool didn't get to grips with the first half. I thought they dealt with it better second half. Some individual performances then. Let's first of all, moments of correction. Says an improvement because we lost at the Emirates twice. We lost at the Emirates in the last two seasons. Yeah, both league games Liverpool have lost there. So it's a point gain there, and also more importantly, it's 2 points off Arsenal, or Arsenal not extending that gap on you by 3 points. It's actually level pegging as you were, and considering they're behind us, I think I see your point. It's good. Both times we've left the Emirates in the last 2 years, Arsenal have gained 3 points on us. This time it's all square. So absolutely, yeah, it's an improvement on a year by year. Mr. J Mango says Robertson is becoming a huge concern. He was poor last season. It's continued into this one. It's not a blip, it's a regression, and we need to find an able replacement, a left back / centre back to replace him. I thought Robertson had a really tough first half in particular. He found it really, really difficult. It's worth mentioning, I think Bukayo Saka was fantastic. He is a wonderful player, and he won't be the first left back that gets absolutely skinned by Bukayo Saka or Andy Robertson. However, the fact that he's way deeper in the first place, if he just holds his line, he's going to be offside. And then ironically, and it's easier said than done, and I understand this, I'm teaching Andy Robertson how to play left back, and it's mad, because obviously he's the best left back I've seen at Liverpool, and I'm a big fat ball guy. But I thought he ran too fast to get back. If he just slows himself down and says to Bukayo Saka, score from that narrow angle, as soon as he overcommits himself, I know he gets megged, but even if he doesn't, he runs past the ball. I think he panics a little bit, and then obviously it's a wonderful finish from Saka. However, I would agree, I thought he was poor. I don't think he's been rubbish this season. I think he's been okay at times. I think he's had good games, he's had bad games. I thought Kostas played better than him. Having said that, Arsenal also did take Saka off. So it's like, you know what I mean? And with all due respect to the kids who comes on, it's a different game at that point, isn't it? You know, I think, let me just double check. I'm just going to double check the timeline on that in terms of when the subs were made. So Liverpool brought Tsimikas on in the 63rd minute. And then where does Saka go off? Saka go, I tell a lie. It was much later. It was much later than I thought, actually. It was only 5 minutes, so yeah, fair enough. I was wrong on that one. I thought Kostas did a very good job. I thought Saka faded, but I thought Kostas did a better job. And I think actually this season, bar 4 minutes in Milan when Kostas seemed to lose his head, he's been pretty good this year. I also think it's easy to blame Andy Robbo there on the goal, and listen, he doesn't do well, of course he doesn't. I don't think there's no pressure on the ball, so Ben White's got all day to play a long ball. That can't happen. If you're playing a high line, you can't allow time on the ball like they did. And also, I think Virgil van Dijk could do better. I think Virgil van Dijk jogs back and he doesn't sense the danger, and I think he should really have to sprint back as fast as he can. And then when Saka does beat Andy Robbo, I think Van Dijk might be in a better position to do something about it. He might not be able to, but he's nowhere near it. So I think all three of them, but you know, I think it was Nunez who could have closed the ball down. Robbo certainly could have done better, and I think Van Dijk could have been there to help his mate out as well. I did see some people blame the goalie. I don't think so, to be honest with you. Keller makes himself big, he just blasts it past, and you can't react to that. You just hope it hits your arm when your arm is up. So it was a poor goal to concede. Both goals were poor goals to concede, actually. Warren says it was a missed opportunity. They were there for the taking when Gabriel went off. See, I see your point, Warren, but also they then turned into, you know, Tony Pulis to Stoke. That's what they do. It doesn't really matter who's playing for them when they're on their own. You know, they're just defending banks of four. It's effectively 4-5-1. They're so deep. Liverpool trying to work the way around them. It is tough. You know, it wasn't like anyone got kivvy or isolated at any point, really. So I see your point about Gabriel going off, and I think if Arsenal were losing the game at that point or draw, you know, or certainly chasing it rather, I think it would have made a big difference, because he's, you know, having to play up further up, he'd have probably had less protection in front of them. But once they're back in their shape, and I thought Merino and Rice were really good in front of the defenders, it's really tough to break them down. You know, Man City found it really tough against 10 men against them. They're excellent when they get in their shape. Mikel, and you know, he takes a leaf out of Tony Pulis' book, doesn't he, and just sits them all in and plays for free kicks and all that kind of stuff, and that's what they do when they're up. So Liverpool's probably getting behind in the first place. Right then, Gaz says, let's be honest, we were average, but it's got a draw, and that's what counts. See, I thought they were poor. I thought Liverpool were poor in the first half, really poor, actually, really, really poor. I thought Arsenal were good. I thought Liverpool were decent in the second half. And I think a draw is about a fair result, if truth be told. They're really tough to play against. They're a good team. And I know they've got injuries, but they're still a good team. And they're very well coached, you know. They're certainly defensively. So I think it's a good, all right performance. Decent, like you say, yeah, all right. And you'll take it, and it's a decent point overall as well. Konate was so good, says Harrison Mason-Jones. What Konate did so well was cover on the ball in behind to Martinelli. A couple of times it looked like Martinelli was going to get free, and Ibu just steps across, puts the afterburners on, and then really strong in his defending. So I agree. Actually, I thought Konate had a good game. Again, it's hard to dissect who's really at fault for the set pieces in terms of whose man's who. It's difficult because we're zonal, and Arsenal do that silly thing where they move into it. But I think Ibu and Van Dijk will be disappointed with the goal. Certainly, the second one, having not learned from the mistake. But I agree. I thought he was good. Harry Crick 03 says, I don't want to jinx it, but it's 3 games in a row where Nunez has actually been good. I thought he struggled to get into the game, really. He was very isolated. But in the moment when he needed to keep his cool and keep his calm, he did it excellently well. Like, you know what I mean? When he gets played in down the side, it's wonderful by Alexander-Arnold. I thought it was poor with his passing actually for most of the game up until that point. He plays a wonderful ball, and Darwin, in times gone by, has I don't know, just made the wrong decision, took the wrong option a couple of times. This time it was perfect. The weight on the pass to Salah was fantastic, and the King does what the King does. He scores again, like scoring goals against Arsenal. It goes above Jermaine Defoe, doesn't he, in the all-time Premier League goal scorers charts, catching up with Robbie Fowler, who's an all-time Liverpool great, and Salah's quick. You'll catch him maybe next week or two. Fantastic goal. So I agree. I thought Nunez was good. I don't think we've seen enough of him from a Liverpool point of view. Again, the midfield couldn't really find him enough. With the long ball, wasn't really working. It wasn't really sticking. But in that moment when he has to chill, get everything spot on, I thought he was good. Trevor says, let's be honest, they struggled against the heavily depleted Arsenal. I am not convinced. I don't know if you're a Liverpool fan, Trevor. Liverpool didn't struggle. They struggled first half. They were better second half and heavily depleted. I mean, they had 3 players out. Liverpool had 2. It's you're splitting hairs there. As the game went on later on, actually, when Gabriel goes off, I see your point, but by that point, Arsenal are already winning. It's a different game. So I don't think Liverpool struggled. I think they struggled first half when it was, and both teams had injuries and issues. Liverpool have got Alisson and Jota and Elliott out. They could easily be in the first 11. Definitely the first 2 would be. Arsenal have got 3 players out. It's fine. I mean, and by the way, Saliba's own fault. He got himself fucking sent off. That's his problem, not ours. Credit to Slot for his subs because he fixed the problem well. Simicast was outstanding again, says Harry. I thought Costas had a really good game. Who else have we got in the chat? We have got Jake says, I wanted more out of Trent today. Yeah, I thought his passing was poor, which is unlike Alexander-Arnold. Like I said, I tweeted before, literally about 10 seconds before he got involved in the goal. I'll take the jinx on that one. Like, he had the boots on the wrong feet. He just couldn't find our men, and it wasn't even close. Some of them were miles off, like under hitting stuff. Like that free kick he tries to take quick. 99 times out of 100, he finds that, and it was nowhere near it. But then he provides you just with one moment of quality, which he can do. I agree. I thought Trent was poor on the ball. Actually, I don't think he was anywhere near his best. But he was involved in the goal, so he can be forgiven a little bit. Who else have we got? We've got Gary says we were fantastic in the second half, much better. More, I'm guessing he says more. I think that means more grit, hard work, drive, and determination to win. But we were being sloppy giving the ball away. I thought Liverpool showed good character. I thought they showed good character. They weren't great. They weren't always at it, and there was things to improve. Got to remember, this is like that's our 9th league game under this manager. You know what I mean? Like, it's not going to be perfect all the time. But I thought he was good in terms of like what he got out of his team, especially second half. First half was poor, but the way they reacted, whether it be tactically or just with the attitude, certainly deserves some praise. Tom says it was our worst midfield performance of the season. I'd say away from home, I would agree. I thought they were poor. I think it was a poor midfield performance against Nottingham Forest. We just couldn't get on the ball. We couldn't get out. That was the issue. No one was particularly honking. It wasn't clicking. It didn't work actually. But yeah, I think sometimes you got to credit the opposition. Arsenal were good as well. I thought Liverpool's front three was a big issue as well in terms of not being able to hold the ball up at times. It was just very disjointed. Right, let's have a look what else we've got. Who else is here? We've got Keaton says, I'm really irritated with this performance. Okay, this is the time when you put the foot on the opponent's throat and squeeze. We're just not there. I'm sorry to be negative. We've seen this time and time again. What do you mean this is the time when you put the foot on the opponent's... I don't know what that means. Like, did we expect to just go to Arsenal and just batter them? Like, does anyone think that was going to... I didn't. I thought Liverpool could win, and I thought they might sneak a close win out. But, you know, Arsenal, they've been doing this to everyone. You know, they score loads of goals from set plays. They're very well disciplined. They're tactically sound when they defend. They're really good. I understand they've got players missing. So have Liverpool. Like, I thought Liverpool, in terms of second half, played well, to be honest with you. I thought Arsenal defended quite well as well. Like, both things can be true. It was fine. First half poor, second half all right, is why I would say. When we had the momentum at 2-2, see, I thought Liverpool... At that point, again, it wasn't bad. Like, again, I just think Arsenal kind of defended better. Liverpool weren't great. I think the fact that we bring End on as well, I think the manager was happy to take the points. You know what I mean? Like, injury time, maybe they could have went more heavy metal, like you say, but I think the manager was quite happy to get out of there with a point. And you know, in injury time, really, not too much happens. They have the corner where Kurtz has to defend, but you know, at the back post, other than that, there wasn't too much. You know, they had the disallowed goal, but like everyone was stopped by that point, and I think it was a foul. So I'm not going to be too critical. I'm very critical of the first half performance. I'm not going to be too critical of the second half performance, to be honest with you. Simon says, yeah, there was dark arts from Arsenal at 2-2 to break up the momentum. Yeah, they definitely do that. And they're good at it, and they get away with it, so fair play to them. I'm not a big fan of it, but they get away with it, so fair enough. Right then. Rob says, Ibu was defo the man of the match for me. When we go over to the board in a few moments' time, guys, we will discuss who was the man of the match as well. Yeah, Gareth says, I'm really not getting the negativity. It's a good point. I agree. I think it's a good result. I think if you'd have offered me a point beforehand, I probably would have went, you know what, yes, maybe it's not the worst result in the world. And yeah, I'm all right with it. I don't think Liverpool play particularly good. I think it's good that you can go to Arsenal and not play well and get a point. I think Liverpool got a very good side, very good side, and there's more to come from them. More to come. So, who else have we got? What I would say, by the way, I think if Liverpool were ever to have the lead twice at home, I would be disappointed if we then didn't win that game. So I think Arsenal will be kicking themselves that they didn't win that game. Actually, you know, to go ahead twice and then at home and not come away with all 3 points. I think Mikel Arteta will be very, very gutted about that. Who else have we got? I mean, yes, I felt like we played Arsenal's game and gave too many fouls away to let them run down the clock. We got very lucky with a draw, but the result favours more than... I don't think we got lucky. I think I would disagree with that. We got lucky. I don't think we got lucky. I think Liverpool earned the draw in the second half. I completely agree about the fouls. They play for them as well. Every time the ball goes up in the sky, they do that thing where they jump into you and arch the back and go down. Just stay away from them. It's silly. Luis Diaz got caught a couple of times. Alexis McAllister got caught a couple of times. Liverpool effectively give Declan Rice a couple of chances to just find his range, and before you know it, his set piece delivery is fantastic, and we got punished by that. So I agree with your first part. I disagree with the second part. I don't think we were lucky at all. But I agree that it's a better result for Liverpool than it is Arsenal. So agree, disagree, agree would be how I would put it. Gratz says, I thought the referee was strong today under immense pressure. I actually thought Anthony Taylor had a good game. Truth be told, I thought he was all right. A couple of fouls here and there that he probably got wrong. But yeah, for the most part, I thought he had a pretty strong game. If truth be told. Yeah, Benny says, no way we were lucky. It was a well-earned point. I would agree. That's more the way I look at it, actually, especially for the second half. Shredder says, remember when people thought Salah was finished? What Salah's become at the moment is a little bit of a target man. He holds the ball up so well and gets involved. Liverpool couldn't really find him. But when, you know, his finish is delightful, and the run he makes, and we all knew he was going to score. That's how good he is. So yeah, the the goals and assists keep on coming from Mo Salah. He is just a numbers machine. They just keep coming and coming and coming, and hopefully they do that all season, and he can lead Liverpool to a very successful season. But yeah, Salah's not finished. He's a different player than we're used to, but he's not finished. He's nowhere near finished. Excuse me. Right then, who else have we got? Marios says Timikas is on fire. Yeah, he was good. I thought Castas had a strong game when he come on. James said there might need to be a conversation about Robbo. I think that's meant to say. Listen, if you're picking your left backs on form now, you probably would put Timikas ahead of him. So, yeah, I see your point. Who else have we got here? Abdul says, in the end, I think we probably should have got the 3 points. Arsenal weren't there second half. See, I just don't agree with that. I just don't see that. I thought Arsenal, as an attacking threat, dwindled. They got nothing out of it. I thought they were defensively very good. I thought both fullbacks were doing pretty well. I thought the centre halves were doing pretty well. The two in front of them were protecting them. So Arsenal didn't really pose a goal threat, but their shape was excellent and their players defended well. They didn't. So I don't think saying Arsenal weren't there. I think if Liverpool had got in the lead, I think Arsenal might have struggled to come back. I understand you, but they did defend well. I really do think that. But yeah, listen, it's a game. It's a show of opinions. We give you guys your say as well, so you're more than happy to have it. Absolutely, feel free. Who else have we got? A couple more then before we go over to the board. James says the subs changed the game today. McAllister wasn't on it, and Szoboszlai's running was good to change the game. Yeah, the yellow card really didn't help McAllister as well. I think he was really nervous. That left-hand side, Liverpool were having struggles. Again, Saka against Robertson and the overlapping runs and stuff. And I think once McAllister was booked, I think he was really nervous to put a challenge in. He didn't want to get sent off. No shock that he got subbed off either. So yeah, I don't think he was his best game, but I really think that yellow card did impact him. It just, you've got to be so careful. You go down to 10 and you're in big trouble. And I think that was a real turning point when he got that yellow card. I think it was like around the half-hour mark. He's scared at that point, and he plays another half hour with it, and it's difficult for him. So I thought actually the manager should have made that change at half time, if I'm honest with you. He chose not to. He knows more than me, of course. Mikey says, when's Jota back? Don't know. Sorry, couldn't help you on that one. Let's see who else we've got here. Simon criticising Virgil van Dijk for the goal. Van Dijk never legs it back. It's the one fault to his game. Too casual in these situations, not the first. I agree, actually. I think Virgil really could have helped his mate out. Van Dijk he has to sprint at that point. I think he's got to turn. And we know he's quick enough. And listen, Saka still might score, but I think Virgil didn't make it hard enough. Once he beats Robertson, which, fair play to him, Saka, I say, good skill. He should have Van Dijk closing down and maybe jumping and get a block across. I think it was the other side. I think if it was Trent getting done there by Martinelli, I think Canate would have been quicker to be over to it, if I'm honest. So I agree. I think Van Dijk could have done better on the goal. Actually, I thought overall he had a pretty good game, but I thought in that instance, I don't think he did that. He did really well. Right then, a couple more before we go. I'm going to go over to the board very shortly for the player ranking show, where you guys can help me rank all of the Liverpool players in the game. Richard says, I thought we gifted possession to them far too many times. Long aimless hoofs from the keeper. It wasn't just the keeper, it was everybody really. Just the long ball didn't work. I think Kelleher, when he was put under pressure, sometimes he had to kick it long. I don't think he was purposely aiming to kick it long, but you are right. I think too many times Liverpool, the full-backs in particular, just having to get rid. It did favour Arsenal. Liverpool just couldn't get out, if I'm honest. Richie says, Nunez always puts in a shift. Respect for that one. Bazza, should we have been more worried if Arsenal would have had their preferred 11? Maybe. If Liverpool had their preferred 11 as well, then maybe they would have been more worried about us. It swings and roundabouts, like it really is. Right then, a lot of talk about Andy Robertson. We'll talk about him later at the board as well. But yeah, in the end, Liverpool come away with that. I'd say a decent point. Going to the Discord very quickly, some of our Redmen legends. Sai says maybe I'm in a level head moment here. Could we have won? Maybe, but with 2 attackers down, we were less open at the back than in previous visits. There, no. I thought we probably were less open. Actually, I disagree with you on that one. Sai, have we lost? No. It's early in the season, our first big test on the road, and we've come away with a well-earned point. Could have played better, but they aren't a pub team. I tend to agree. Liverpool could have been better. Liverpool could have been worse. The result could have been better. The result could have been worse. It's kind of one of them, isn't it? It's like a draw. It's fine. It's absolutely fine. I thought Liverpool actually. I don't think we were as open though. Kelleher didn't really have to make a save. If truth be told, Howie Los Angeles says we played like shite. We were lucky to get the draw. Move on. Disagree. Hard disagree on that one. Would hard disagree. I don't think we were shite. But we were rubbish first half. Second half we were good, and I don't think the draw was lucky. I think Liverpool earned that point. Denver says, I'm watching post-match and the commentators and the interviewers are siding with Arsenal. It's annoying. I think Arsenal should be more gutted at the draw. They were ahead twice at home and drew. They should be more disappointed with themselves than we are. So that's the way I would see it. Right then, that is it for this section of the show. Thanks very much for joining us for the Fan Interactive Show, where you guys got to have your say on all things Arsenal 2, Liverpool 2. Going to go to a quick break. Stick with us, because in just about a minute or so time, I will be over at the board for the player ranking show, and I will see you all over there